Alright, YouTube, sometimes millennials get a bum rap, and we did economically and speaking in terms of jobs, but sometimes people like generalize about us millennials. They're all far left, none of them wants to get a job, no, they're unrealistic in their expectations, they're like spoiled or something. I don't think so. Like, I'm self-employed. Yeah, there are some neat millennials, and I don't agree with that. There's a difference between like being self-employed and being a neat. Like a neat is you're not even really trying to help out. You're not trying to do anything productive. Self-employed is like, well, I just want to be my own boss. I just don't want to have to do the 9 to 5 grind. But with millennials, one thing I have to admit is it will be very funny when my generation gets geriatric and like there's, millennials in the old folks home and stuff. I'm surprised some of them probably have to be like, they have constant nursing anyway, so they'll be used to it because they're like fat positive or something like that, or they are bug chasers or some weird postmodern Marxist crap like that. And for them, we don't have to worry about them getting geriatric because they will all be quite dead. These people are like, oh yeah, I'm 700 pounds and proud. I'm 700 pounds of beauty. You're also going to be 700 pounds of corpse in the next couple of decades. You will never get old. There is no way you're going to survive that long. You will have organ failure. That's just the way that it is. You can deny biology all you want. It's like denying sex chromosomes or something. I don't care. I don't get offended or upset when people do that because I'm like, oh, it's on you. The end result, that's all you're doing. You're going to be the one that goes to an early grave. If you don't mind that, if you don't mind suffering and dying early, so be it. It's like that fat positive woman. And she wasn't a millennial. It's like younger Gen Xer. I think she was 38. So that's like on the younger side of Gen X, I believe. And wasn't the woman who started the very term fat positive, didn't she just die of like a massive heart attack? She wasn't even 40. So that problem sort of solves itself. But there are going to be a lot of like spice smoking, pink-haired social justice warriors in the old folks' home 40, 50 years from now. And it's going to be really funny. And to Generation Z that's going to have to like take care of those people, I feel sorry for you, and you probably shouldn't bother to respect your elders at that point. You'll be my age at that point, and my generation will be headed up into our 50s. Hopefully, like, we can regroup and try to solve some of the problems that we and honestly some of the boomers created. But you probably shouldn't put your hope in my generation because a lot of them are real far out there. They're not exactly, they may claim that they want to be your role models and say, oh, well, I'm cool because I've got tattoos and pink hair and I tolerate everyone, including people that want to, chop my hand off or something. No, it's not really cool. It's not really being a role model. You don't even really need role models. Who do you have? Let's see, the baby boomers who are geriatric now or entering geriatric stage. In many cases, the younger boomers, they're still active. In fact, some of them work double shift at Wendy's. They get amazing energy. Actually, some of them have to work like 2 shifts because the economy got screwed. They had like a union job. They were making $50K a year. They were doing fine. Then all of a sudden, the job market gets crippled by people even older than many of them. And I feel sorry. I feel almost sorrier for some of those boomers in getting screwed that hard than I do the millennials that were, entering college. Like the market dropped out right when I was about to enter college. It's like the last year I was in high school getting into college, going to UVM, and all of a sudden shit hits the fan. Thank you, Bush. Thank you, Obama. It was really helpful. And of course, then I was looking at like the student debt. I'm like, what have I gotten myself into? I dropped out. And I was glad that I did. Now I'm paying it off. I'm doing just fine. I'm making more than I would have made in any sort of job that would have still been available. I would have been competing with some boomer with a master's degree. It's just not worth it. And I feel sorry for people who got ground under so hard that they're not even bothering. They became a NEET. They ignore their debt. They ignore their responsibilities. They've given up. I don't blame them. I'm not going to sit here and blame even the lefties. I'm not even going to blame them for like dropping out of society and becoming sort of like basement hippies or something like that. I can't blame them. I felt the same way for a while. I just, had more ambition than that. I was like, every part of me wanted to succeed. That's just sort of the way that I am. Now it's happening, writing books, editing books, put my voice out here. Thousands of people watch this video. It's pretty funny. But, admittedly, it'll be hilarious when the millennials enter their geriatric stage. Here you'll have an old folks home. It'll have really fast Wi-Fi. It'll have to. It'll probably have like a drug vending machine, and it'll have free hair dye for all of the old people because they're gonna need it. They're gonna demand pink hair. So, you'll have some really old, crazy, demented woman. She'll be like, I want to dye my hair pink. Oh, your hair's already pink. I don't care, I want to dye it again. It's stuff like that. It's going to be funny. And their tattoos will be all like saggy. It's like their Pac-Man tattoo. Now it resembles a big yellow dick or something like that. Because everything's just like slowly sliding down, sloughing up. And a lot of these people, I mean, they're surviving on like, cheap piss beer and Doritos and Mountain Dew and stuff. A lot of these people will probably be diabetic. It's going to be a huge epidemic among the millennials, I think. Generation Z's doing better. They're like sort of abandoning some of this stuff, so I wish them luck. And because they're going to be the ones that have to solve a lot of the problems that we've created. They're also going to be the ones that have to solve a lot of the boomer and Gen X problems. Gen X, they were real like wild child mode when they were young. And now they seem, as far as people who are alive and adult today, they seem like the sane ones. Like the oldest millennials in through like the middle of Gen X. That's like the period of sanity, which is greatly funny because, look at the music and the style and the rampant drug use. And now they've calmed down. They've sort of become like, shy yuppies or something like that. Meanwhile, the boomers, they're still like smoking pot and working double shift because the economy got fucked. The younger Gen X into like the millennials, half of us are like, underemployed or kind of hopeless or really far left, and all they do all day is like march around and scream about Black Lives Matter or something. Generation Z should ignore us. When we get older and start saying, respect your elders, don't bother. There's nothing to respect. Yeah, there are a few people who still have working minds among the millennials. A lot of them don't, and when their minds break down even further, when they get demented, and you're like the doctors and nurses that have to care for, other geriatric people in my generation, have some fun, because it is going to be funny. I hope I don't get demented. That would be a bigger feel. Like dying, yeah, that's okay, that's fine. You have to die someday anyway. But I hope I don't get demented, because I want to sit there and enjoy and make wisecracks about other people from my generation who have gotten old and boring, but they're still clinging to that weird dementia. And because they'll be demented, they won't have a filter. So they're just going to say anything that comes to mind. So you'll have these surreal experiences where some group of like commies and anarchists, or former commies and anarchists with pink hair, they're all in wheelchairs. They're in the old folks' home and they just start chanting about Black Lives Matter or something. They'll look even more mindless than they already do. Some of these social justice warriors. They'll be sitting there, they'll take up totally random chants. They'll start chanting about their diarrhea. We want colonoscopies, something like that. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be like watching a bunch of geriatric zombies in the old folks' home. So I look forward to that. Like, 35, 40 years down the road, older millennials, they're probably entering the end stages of their life, and the younger millennials are getting there, still healthy, but some of them have already gone. Meanwhile, at least the fat positive activists and the pro-pause sort of, I want to get infected with a transmissible disease because it's like some of these people are actually into that. And that's probably the wackiest thing I've ever heard. And that's like pure millennial. You can't think up anything more authentically social justice warrior, pink-haired millennial than wanting to be a bug chaser or something like that. They'll all be gone. So those sort of social justice warrior groups, they'll all have died out because their members, are they going to survive past 50 or maybe like 55 if they're lucky? My bet is 99% of them won't. And the few that remain, they'll be like totally messed up. They'll be totally bedridden. They'll be riddled with disease. They won't really be capable of a coherent conversation. So they're really killing themselves off. It's like evolution at work. So like natural selection is telling them, no, you're nuts. You shouldn't be replicating. Thankfully, most of them don't wish to replicate. It's probably a good thing. It's kind of a good thing that many millennials are going childless. I'll say that. It's kind of a good thing that many millennials have chosen not to have children. Like Generation Z, those are the children of like younger Gen X. The millennials haven't really created a generation yet. It might be sort of a really small and kind of messed up last generation before we enter total obsolescence as the Western world. In which case, we don't have to deal with that. Generation Z will. We'll be dead and gone, and everyone else will be suffering. Sorry about that. I can't control all the other millennials. I can only speak for myself. As for me, no. I'll probably go childless, which is fine. Who cares? I'd rather leave behind books or something. I realize that some people see that as like, oh, you need to replicate the white race or some of this ethno-nationalist stuff. Yeah, but I don't care. You can do that. Yeah, have 10 kids. That's great. Have a big family. As for me, yeah, my ambitions are a little bit different from that. It's just the way that I am. But when the millennials get old, yeah, it's going to be some funnies. Oh, they'll make sitcoms about it. Can you imagine the way we cast the World War II generation now? Is some 80-year-old man totally obsolete and messed up with the occasional grain of wisdom from their time and, killing Nazis or something. Imagine, 50 years from now when that sort of typecast elderly character has pink hair and modeled, diabetes tattoos and stuff like that and keeps rambling about all the pot that they smoked 50 years ago. It's going to be a riot. Comedy will come back at that point. 50 years from now, look for a renaissance in comedy because the jokes will write themselves. Because a lot of these people, many, again, younger boomer through, the younger millennials, a lot of these people are jokes. They already are. They already write themselves. They're writing themselves into the annals of history as a lost generation, not just because they got screwed over. Some of them did. Some of them are trying to help themselves. Others, though, they're a literal joke. Barely a human being at that point. They've become sort of a typecast post-leftist character of themselves to the point where they've almost erased their own identity. They become part of this sort of conglomerate that really does act like that stereotype about them. So I look forward to seeing them like in the old folks' home. It's going to be funny to see them sitting there, peeing all over themselves, and they're ranting about how anarchism is great, communism is great. Did that fascist Trump die? Yes. Trump's been gone he hasn't been in office for 35 years, ma'am. Oh, good. Is Mike Pence gone? It's going to be great. Oh, man, I can't wait. Yeah, I'm looking forward to old age just so I can watch the old age of some of the other millennials. Yeah, I got to preserve myself. I got to eat more organic food and try to take it easy, I guess. That's about all. Peace out.